one is here, and the New Orleans Saints have released their depth charts. So in today's video, we're going to go through what the depth charts are, and I'm going to give you my reactions to each position. Some surprising moves, some surprising decisions, and I'm going to break it all down. My name is Trizzy Trace. Thank you so much for tuning in to Saints Now by Chat Sports. Let's start off with the quarterback position. The big surprise here is that Jake Haener is now on the game day roster. As a lot of you know, JT Gray was released by the New Orleans Saints in what was, in my opinion, a shocking decision. And Jake Haener, he took his roster spot, has been elevated from the practice squad. Hunter Decker stays on the practice squad. And so your QB1 is Spencer Rattler, QB2 Tyler Shough, and QB3 is Jake Haener. And I will say it is a bit of a surprise to see him back on the game day roster. The Saints seemed like they were confident in rolling with just Rattler and Shough, but doesn't matter who's out there, doesn't matter who's starting, doesn't matter who's the backup, who's a third-string quarterback. The QB room in New Orleans, they have a lot to prove. There's a lot of doubters, there's a lot of haters, and the national narrative around this quarterback room is very, very bad. And this has honestly been a laughingstock for the most part throughout the offseason. And so for the New Orleans Saints, if I'm Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, or Jake Haener, I know that I have a lot to prove. I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder, and I'm looking to silence a lot of the haters, trying to prove the national narrative and the national media wrong. Let's go to the running back room now. Alvin Kamara will be your RB1. Velus Jones Jr., funny enough, he's listed as RB3 over Devin Neal. I thought that was an interesting decision. But Kendre Miller is going to be RB2. And I'll say this around the running back room. I'm really, really eager to see Alvin Kamara specifically with Kellen Moore. Don't get me wrong. I'm really excited to watch a healthy version of Kendre Miller. He said for the first time this in his NFL career, he's going into a season completely healthy. It's the healthiest he's been since being drafted. Really eager to see what he's capable of doing on game days. But I'm really eager to see Alvin Kamara with Kellen Moore, because if you look back at what Saquon Barkley did with Kellen Moore, he had career highs in most of the big major stats. Career highs in carries, yards, touchdowns. I mean, the guy was a freak of nature last year, over 2,000 rushing yards. I'm really, really eager to see Alvin Kamara, who we know is a really, really good football player, work with a smart offensive mind like Kellen Moore, and hopefully this is the year that we can see him get to 1,000 yards on the ground. Now, who will score the first touchdown of the season? I want you to answer that question in the comment section for me, Saints fans. We could make an argument about Alvin Kamara, but maybe one of these guys is who you would pick. I'm personally going to go with somebody we're about to talk about, but I want to hear from you. Now, let's get to my pick. I think it's going to be a deep ball to Rashid, the need for speed, Shaheed, because that's the most electric way to start off a football season. That's the best way to get Spencer Rattler some good juju. That's the best way to get the vibes through the roof in New Orleans. Get the football into the hands of the most electric player in the National Football League. That is Rashid Shaheed. But also, I want to show a lot of love to Chris Olave. And Brandon Cooks, for that matter, I think was a good addition in free agency. I love the addition of Trey Palmer in the waiver wire. That might be one of those few waiver wire acquisitions that turns out to be a really, really good addition. Mason Tipton, I think, has a really important role this year. I'm really excited to see how he's utilizing Kellen Moore's offense. And Devaughn Vele, I thought, was a really smart trade in terms of what the player you were getting was. Didn't love the compensation, but I do love the 6'5" possession wide receiver that is really, really good in those contested catches. Now, in my opinion, if I take a look into my time machine, look back on last year's wide receiver room, I think this year's is much better than it was last season. I think that having Cedric Wilson on the roster, no disrespect to Cedric Wilson, I think having a guy like Devaughn Vele or a guy like Trey Palmer, I would consider that a little bit of an upgrade. I also will give a lot of credit to Ced Wilson. He is a good blocker, but I just, in my opinion, believe that the wide receiver room is in a better spot going into week one this season than it was in last year. Tight ends, you only got 2 on the depth chart. It's just Juwan Johnson. It's just Maliki Madavao. And I'll say this, I think that the New Orleans Saints need to make sure that they get these 2 guys right here involved. Specifically, Juwan Johnson, I need to see him absolutely put it together, because he is somebody who is not a complete tight end. He's a really, really good receiving threat, but in my opinion, he needs to be a complete tight end for a complete season. That has been the theme of Juwan Johnson's career. He starts off the season really hot and then tails off. Or he starts slow and then finishes the season red hot with a lot of momentum. So with Juwan Johnson, I want to see him be a complete tight end for a complete season, justify that 3-year, $30.75 million contract that he signed this offseason. I believe in Juwan Johnson, and I want to see him prove me correct, and all the people like Kellen Moore and the rest of the Saints front office who believe in him. Now Maliki Madavao, he is a specifically interesting player. This right here has him listed at 6'5", but ESPN updated has him listed at 6'8". Yeah, throw him the football. He's really, really good in the contested catches situation. He's also somebody who at UCLA was underrated in my opinion. 6'8", 263 pounds is what ESPN has him listed as right now. 7th round pick, 248th overall. I know that the numbers aren't going to jump off the screen, but 29 yards, 4 receptions, 0 touchdowns, 7.3 yards per catch. I want to take a look at his college stats now, just kind of on the fly here, Lopez. Keep this right up here. When it comes to his time in college, hold on, loading. Oregon and UCLA, 2 years at each school, a grand total of 998 yards, 6 touchdowns, a long of 35 yards, 74 catches, an average of 13.5 yards per catch. He also ran for 3 yards and a touchdown. So, maybe if you're going to run a tush push, Maliki Madavao could be a good option. Don't do it with Maliki Madavao. But for what it's worth, throw him the jump ball. Get him involved in the red zone. Get him involved in short yardage situations when you need to convert in those clutch downs. I really am excited about Maliki Madavao. I'm excited to see that he made the roster. I want to see him do something good because the tight end room has been known to be a heavily used part of Kellen Moore's offenses. Let's get to the trenches, ladies and gentlemen. The starting offensive line, no changes here when it comes to the starters. Kelvin Banks, Trevor Penning, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Tyler Sefuaga. That's what you saw early in training camp. That's what you saw early in minicamp. That's what you saw in the preseason, and that's what you're going to see throughout the regular season as long as these guys stay healthy. But Asim Richards, a player the Saints traded for with the Dallas Cowboys, he's going to be your swing tackle because Landon Young went down with injury. Now, Dylan Radins, Torricelli Simpkins, those guys are going to be backup guards. So will Xavier Truss. And then you also traded for Luke Fortner behind Eric McCoy. Reminder, that was with the Colin Saunders to Jacksonville. Luke Fortner then comes to New Orleans. So you have seen a little bit of change with the offensive line. My big request, just please, football gods, if you're listening, please keep them healthy. God forbid Eric McCoy gets hurt, this season will go to shit. And that is not what we want to see. We want to see Trevor Penning get back on the field, stay healthy this year. We want to see Kelvin Banks, Tali Sefuaga play every single game. We want to see Cesar Ruiz be consistent. We want to see this line stay healthy because that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the key to success. If the offense wants to get things rolling, they need to stay healthy, not just in the trenches, not just in the quarterback room, not just in the skill position areas, but in the entire offense as a whole. They got to stay healthy if they want to have some success. Now we're going to take a look at the defense here in just one moment, but really quick, got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor. It's one of my favorite ones. Y'all know it real well. Chubby's, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for some football? If you're not, Chubby's is here to help you out. And if you use our code CHATSPORTS, you can get $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/chatsports. That does include the NFL collection, so be sure to click the link in the comments and description of this video. Whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of Saints game day from your couch, Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. With bold designs featuring your favorite NFL teams, Chubby's game day gear isn't just comfortable, it's a statement. You can rep your team's logos in wildly comfortable polos, wave-making swim trunks, and gym-ready mesh shorts. Yeah, you heard that right, swim trunks with Saints logos on them. You gotta go and get one. And if you have some friends who rep some other squads, it's a great gift. If you got a niece or a nephew who loves the New Orleans Saints, you can go ahead and get them one of these shirts, get them one of these pairs of shorts, get them some fun gear from Chubby's. If you got a brother, you got a cousin, you got an uncle, you got a dad, you got somebody in your life who needs some fresh Saints gear, Chubby's is here to help you out. I personally love Chubby's gear. I wear it all the dang time. Not just their shirts. I rock those, by the way, on family vacation. Got a ton of compliments. Shout out to Chubby's. Got to say thank you so much. But my girl, she loves how I look. in these pants right here. I can tell you right now, fellas, if you go ahead and get yourself some of these Saints shorts, some of these Saints swimsuits, some of this Saints Chubby's gear, it's going to be a lot like a Falcons fan, not going to be able to keep your hands on the balls. Just going to keep your hands off balls. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Go ahead and get yourself some gear, chubbyshorts.com/chatsports, $10 off your order with the promo code CHATSPORTS. That does include the NFL collection. Reminder, that's promo code chatsports when you click the link in the comments or description of this video. Get the swimsuits, get the trunks, get the shirts, get anything in the NFL collection. Support our show and tell them we sent you by clicking the link. Now let's go to the defensive line because, I want to just make one thing very clear. It's obvious that the Saints are going to be running a 5-man front. They have that 3-4 base defense that Brandon Staley is implementing this year. But according to the New Orleans Saints depth chart on the website and what they released to media, this is what it lists. Chase Young, Cam Jordan, those are going to be your starting edges opposite of each other. Devaughn Vele, Bryan Bresee will be the starters on the interior, with Carl Granderson, Chris Rumph, Christian Boyd, Nathan Shepard, Vernon Broughton, and Jonathan Bullard all getting rotated in as well. And for what it's worth, just because you see Cam Jordan, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, it's kind of a weird little thing here. You only see 2 of them listed as starters, but on the official depth chart, we just don't have a way to designate it on our graphics. The official depth chart does list Carl Granderson or Chase Young as the starting edge rusher opposite of Cam Jordan. So in my opinion, how I take that is the Saints are going to keep Cam Jordan on the field more often than Carl Granderson / Chase Young, which to me kind of makes not a ton of sense. That's just how I'm interpreting it. I do think overall it's just going to be a healthy rotation of all 3 of those guys getting in. Chase Young is, in my opinion, the guy who should be the leading edge rusher. He has all the pedigree. He has the contract to now prove that he was worth it. And he's a player that needs to break out. 10-plus sacks this season would be awesome. But I am also excited to see the defensive line as a whole. Want to see them stop the run. Want to see them get active in the backfield. And I want to see them finally get production because you see a lot of pressures. I want production. The linebacker room, in my opinion, is one of the best in the National Football League, one of the most underrated. Not only do you have some studs in Demario Davis and Pete Werner, but I think that you have some really talented depth in Isaiah Stallbert, Danny Stutzman, and Jalen Ford. I do think that this is one of the strongest parts of the Saints roster, and in my opinion, I think this is the best linebacker duo in the NFC South. Call me crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I want Pete Werner, though, to take the next step. He is making some decent money. I believe for average annual value, it's somewhere, I believe it's like 20th or like 15 to 20th range. It's pretty average in terms of linebacker money, but I want to see him take the next step because you do have some players who could be challenging you for some snaps in Danny Stutzman, Jalen Ford, Isaiah Stallbert. Those guys are really talented. You are not going to want to keep Danny Stutzman off the field. So I want to see Pete Werner take the next step because Demario Davis isn't getting any younger. So Pete Werner needs to step up and be the guy so that way Danny Stutzman can, transition into being the secondary linebacker, being the starter next to Pete Werner rather than being the third guy who gets in rotated. I think Pete Werner is a fine linebacker. I think he's a really talented football player, but I want to see him take that next step because I just believe there's something and some untapped potential that we just truly haven't gotten to see. I hopefully will get to see that happened under Brandon Staley in his new defense. Now, if you want to see the Saints take the field against the Cardinals, we will be live on game day 1 hour before kickoff. So I encourage you to subscribe and join us. We're going to be giving away a gold Saints jersey to one lucky viewer. So be sure to come hang out, tune in, and watch the whole watch party because we're going to be taking in submissions for that gold jersey throughout the entire game. And then afterwards, we're going to be giving it away. I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss out. And we will see you on game day. Cornerbacks. Let's talk cornerbacks, not quarterbacks. Cornerbacks. Gosh, I cannot speak today, y'all. I'm so sorry. Isaac Yiadom. He's going to be your starter next to Kool-Aid McKinstry. There was some really impressive play during the preseason from Quincy Riley, and he's had some really good moments throughout the summer. But the Saints coaching staff opting to go with more experience. That is why Isaac Yiadom is going to be the starter. Alontae Taylor will be the starting nickelback as long as he is healthy. He's dealing with a groin injury. Hopefully he can play week 1. I don't think that he should be out, but again, I'm filming this before any roster news or any injury reports come out, so just wanted to be fully transparent. If that does change, we will let you guys know in our preview, which will drop later this week. Ugo Amadi is going to be the backup. Rajon Wright, he makes the roster. Rico Payton was signed to the practice squad for the New York Football Giants, and this is a cornerback room overall that I'm really high on, and I think it's underrated. A lot of youth, a lot of intriguing youth, and especially with Alontae Taylor and Brandon Staley's defense, I really am excited to see how he is utilized because I think that he has the opportunity to be an absolute menace in Brandon Staley's defensive scheme. He is already one of the more disruptive players in the National Football League on the defensive side of the football, and he is a guy that will be playing in a star-type role for the Saints defense, and if you don't really know what I mean, think back to how Jalen Ramsey was used for the Rams defense when they went on their Super Bowl run when Brandon Staley was their defensive coordinator. By no means am I saying Alontae Taylor will be Jalen Ramsey. Don't even accuse me of saying that because that's not what I'm saying whatsoever. But in terms of the usage and in terms of the role, I think that it will be very similar and be very reminiscent of how Ramsey was used for the Los Angeles Rams. I'm excited to see Alontae Taylor. He has a lot to prove this year. I really think that he is somebody who could have a big breakout, and I'm excited for him going into this season. Really, really big leadership opportunities, big growth this summer. He's been very praised by the Saints coaching staff. The safety room, in my opinion, it has been upgraded. Obviously, last year, you had Tyrann Mathieu and Will Harris as your starters. Mathieu retires, so you signed Julian Blackmon. It was kind of cool. We're going to get to see Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu play on their third team together, this time, though, for the hometown state for both players. But, obviously, he retires the first day of training camp or going into training camp. I was on the vacation, so, either way, I made content about it. It was kind of heartbreaking. But Jordan Howden, Jonas Sanker, those are going to be your backups in the safety room. And do not let the media and the haters and the doubters, don't let all of those fools trick you. Don't let those guys fool you because this Saints defense really could be great this season. I have a lot of sources. I have a lot of people who I've been talking with that are very, very close within the organization. And there's a lot of belief in that starting defense. There is a lot of talent that is being severely overlooked, and there's a lot of good depth now on this defense. So when it comes to the Saints defense, I think that that's going to be a strong suit of this roster, and I think that that's going to be a part of this team that, quite frankly, keeps the team alive throughout the season and keeps games close. Hopefully, I am right. Hopefully, the people who tell me these things are correct as well. I believe in the Saints defense. I think that the starting squad is going to be really, really good, and I'm really eager for game day. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Week 1 cannot get here quick enough. September 7th, please wake me up when September 7th is here. Now, the special teams, let's talk there because there is some interesting stuff here. Let's just talk really fast. In terms of the kick return, no Rashid Shaheed. You have Velus Jones and Kendre Miller. On punt return, he's still there, but Ugo Amadi's the backup, but he's not on the kick return spot. So Rashid Shaheed is not a kick returner this year, at least for the New Orleans Saints. Zach Wood, Blake Grupe, Kai Kroger, those are going to be your starting 3 specialists. But for the kick return, I think it's surprising to not have Rashid Shaheed back there. And for what it's worth, in my opinion, I would have envisioned you put Rashid Shaheed and Velus Jones back there, 2 of the fastest guys in the NFL. You have 4.3 and 4.31 speed. Let them run the kickoffs. Good luck defending that. Like, that was my stupid, dumb podcast brain speaking. But, I mean, maybe there is a reason that Rashid Shaheed isn't going to be on the kick return team. Maybe it's because his role on the offense is going to be very, very increased. So, in my opinion, it's weird to see him not on the kick return spot because that's where he made the roster. That's how he got his money. That's how he got his opportunities was because he was a return specialist, not just in punts, but also in kicks. But this year, not listed as a kick returner for week 1. Fantasy football hack. I'll go ahead and give you one. I mentioned it before. I'll continue to mention it. Go ahead and draft this guy. If you want to win your league, draft Blake Grupe. Even if the Saints offense isn't, going crazy and winning a ton of games and scoring a ton of points, I will tell you one part of the team that will be consistently putting up numbers is going to be Blake Grupe. He's pretty much automatic from 50-plus yards, really consistent. He has only gotten better. He's become a staple of the New Orleans Saints team. He's a captain this year. If the Saints don't score touchdowns, Kellen Moore is going to want to score field goals, and Blake Grupe is going to be doing a lot of those. So if you want to win fantasy football, just quick little hack from old Trizzy, draft Blake Grupe. Now, who you got? Get in the comment section. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Type S for Saints. Type C for Cardinals. I want to hear from you, Who Dat Nation. That's all we got for you today. We went through the Week 1 depth chart, some surprising decisions, some interesting moves. Nonetheless, some really exciting things happening here in just a few days. Week 1 cannot get here quick enough. Be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.